Hello food fans, going to have a big meal today. It's 1 pound, it's 1 pound size of Hungry Man meal. This is fried chicken, 39 grams of protein, so we're getting lots of protein. We're also getting a lot of sodium, 87% of our daily suggested allowance. And in addition to that, this Hungry Man meal comes with its own dessert, but I will add something to make the dessert even better. So let's get started. And it looks good. I have a salad here, and there's one little difference in this salad from the salads I've made previously. This is a cabbage salad. It has tomatoes, it has carrots, it has cabbage, it has mayonnaise, it has relish, and it has ketchup in it. But it has purple cabbage. And I can't tell any difference in the taste. I do believe this is one of the healthiest meals I've ever recommended. Lots of salad. I also have dessert. It'll be a nice dessert. And I think desserts are healthful. They make you feel good. I think anything that makes you feel good is good for you. I'm probably right, but I have been wrong. I once thought I was wrong, but I was wrong. I want to say thanks to Dana. Give me some pot holders so I don't burn my fingers. Food gets very hot. Keep the kids away from the stove. Keep the adults away from the stove. The Hungry Man meals are big. They're 1 pound as a rule. I don't know if some might weigh a little less. The corn is fresh. The mashed potatoes do not have any gravy. That would be room for an improvement. Of course, I'd like them put in gravy, but add it. Don't take away mashed potatoes and put in gravy and end up with the same 16 ounces. It's potatoes. And the potatoes do get hot in the microwave. Now the meat, 3 portions about that size. So we're getting more than what we would get at a Kentucky Fried Chicken 2-piece meal. We're getting 3 pieces, but we're not getting a lot more because Kentucky Fried Chicken would have slightly larger pieces. And this TV dinner, this Hungry Man meal, costs just about $5. We got this one from Walmart. Let me taste the chicken, chicky bird. It is quite good. Sometime I'll have to try actually frying some chicken. I have done that before, but it's almost too much like work. And everyone be careful when you're eating fried chicken. It can have some small bones in it. Be very cautious. Take some root beer here. I bought this when it was $1. This is Kroger root beer. The chicken came from Walmart. The salad, most of the ingredients came from Walmart. That's good tasting chicken. I would consider this to be a nice treat for special meals. That's very good. Very good chicken. A hungry man makes good fried chicken. Comes with a little bit of corn, a little bit of mashed potatoes, and I added the salad. But the Hungry Man meal also has a dessert. Get some more chicken or salad? Chicken first. Hope all's going well for you today. We had one big rain for about 5 minutes earlier. Talk a little bit about comics, comedians, male, female comics. I met a lot of comics, worked with a lot of comics. I saw Bob Hope in person at the Hollywood Bowl in 1956. For most of his appearances that I have seen, I would say he's not really that funny. But he did the funniest joke in a movie that I know of in any movie. Of all the movies I've seen, the funniest joke was one Bob Hope did in a movie called Fancy Pants. Starred Bob Hope and Lucille Ball. Salad is good. Then while the movie Fancy Pants is not sensational, has a couple of good jokes in it, and one of them, as I said, is the funniest I've ever seen in any movie. And the joke is 3 against 1,000. 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 I would recommend watching Fancy Pants. I think Fancy Pants might be available at YouTube. Should be free with ads, I think. Watch the movie until they get done with 3 against 1,000. And the rest of the movie you don't need to watch. You'd be too busy laughing. Comics I've known and worked with include Rip Taylor, Larry Storch, Jonathan Winters, Robin Williams, Chevy Chase. I stood in for Chevy Chase in some scenes in the movie Under the Rainbow. I worked with him 5 times, different movies. He was always nice and pleasant with me. And he made some good movies, made some really funny movies. I'd recommend Fletch, I'd recommend Vacation 1, I'd recommend Vegas Vacation, I'd recommend Christmas Vacation. Comics I've been around. Foster Brooks. Tried to sell him some comedy. My partner, writing partner, and I tried to sell Foster Brooks some routines. We did not have any success at selling it, but it was nice to meet with Foster Brooks. He was an interesting person. I can tell you he wore a shoulder holster, and I feel sorry for anyone who would ever try to mess around with Foster Brooks, try to rob him or anything, because they would be in for a surprise. Jonathan Winters was the funniest person I ever worked with. Wonderful person. Buddy Hackett. I saw one of his recordings of You Bet Your Life. He was the MC of You Bet Your Life, which had originally been done by Groucho Marx. Buddy Hackett did a pretty good remake of it. I don't think it turned out to be as successful as they thought. But I was in the audience of the show, and Buddy Hackett asked a question, I answered, and he and I talked for a few minutes. We talked about old-time radio. Toady Fields, she was a wonderful comic. She unfortunately died too young. When I was finishing up an open mic routine one time, I was doing stand-up comedy at the Sahara Hotel, and I got done with my act, and Toady Fields was coming in the backstage door, and she was getting ready to go somewhere. As I was walking from the stage to the casino. She was walking from the casino to the stage area, and she had been sitting in the audience, and as we passed she said something to the effect of, You're very funny. And that was nice word. It meant a lot to me. Chicken's good. Red Fox. I used to go to Red Fox's parties in Las Vegas. Every year he'd have a couple of parties and he'd invite the radio people. I was a radio announcer in Las Vegas for about 20 years. And Red Fox was funny, and he was nice, and he was thoughtful, and he was intelligent. Pat McCormick. I stood in for Pat McCormick in the movie Under the Rainbow. And Pat McCormick was incredibly funny. Or potatoes. I got some of the dessert mixed with the potatoes. I'll have to patent that recipe. I'll come up with something good. Mashed potatoes with a brownie. Another piece of chicken. The salad is pretty much gone. I worked with Drew Carey and Jim Carey. Phyllis Diller I talked to on the phone, but I never saw her in person. I saw George Kirby. He complimented me for one of my open mic stand-up performances at the Sahara Hotel. And he complimented me, and I believe it was the same week he had to leave Las Vegas to go to the Nevada State Prison. They charged him with something, a drug offense or whatever. But he was a nice person, and they should have given him probation. That's my opinion. Different people have different ideas about the legal system and what is right and what is not. The chicken is good. I don't know what kind of flour mix they put around the chicken. If you want to be a comic, a stand-up comic, who has an act, maybe in Las Vegas, most of the best comics, in my opinion again, make themselves the brunt of the joke. They tell about how they failed at this or failed at that, and it's always a funny story. Like Rodney Dangerfield, he gets no respect. As of right now, this Hungry Man meal, the fried chicken, is still my favorite frozen food meal. pretty good amount of food. It takes about 10 minutes to prepare it in the microwave oven. Four and a half minutes plus 4 minutes. Plus you have to remove the dessert, set it aside at one point. Old-time comics that I'll recommend in case you haven't seen them or in case you don't know about them. Laurel and Hardy, they would always be incompetent at something. You probably have seen some of their scenes from movies. In the movie, I think it's called Way Out West, where they dance to a song in front of a saloon on a crowded western street. Just search for Commence to Dancing, Laurel and Hardy. Even if you decide not to watch the movie, you will like the dance. It's also the movie where Laurel and Hardy sing "In the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the lonesome pine." I'm not sure what kind of chicken meat this is. And if you're doing stand-up comedy, brevity is important. Use as few words as necessary to make the point of the joke. Get all the corn out of the way here. We have lots of rain scheduled for this week. Get some more root beer. This is a low-cost meal. It costs less than just about anything you would get at a fast food franchise. And it has quite a bit of food in the contents here. Very, very tasty. Funniest ending on a movie might be Some Like It Hot. Or it could be Dr. Strangelove. I worked in a movie once that I thought was going to be a hit. I did a scene in it with a person who was a pretty well-known comic at that time, and I guess he's still about the same level of fame. Carrot Top. I worked with Carrot Top in a movie called Chairman of the Board. But they did cut my scene. I was Abe Lincoln in the scene. I also recommend a comedy detective movie, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. In that movie I am Abe Lincoln. Good meal. Now it's time for the secret dessert, which is a brownie which comes with the Hungry Man meal. And I know the brownie is good, and I'm going to add something to it. I'm going to add mint chip ice cream. This came from Walmart. Mint chip ice cream. Put that in there with the brownie. Then put the ice cream over here, I guess. Now the mint chip ice cream and the brownie together. Thank you, by the way, for coming by today. I was anxious to hear the sound of your voice to get your opinion. Do you realize YouTube's getting close to being 25 years old? Actually more like 20 years old. I used to put videos up at ifilm.com. Then YouTube came along. Do you like YouTube? I feel the same way. Thank you for coming over. Thank you for joining me for lunch. And thank you for watching.